Hello, how are you guys doing? What's popping? What's cracking? This is the Youth Pulse podcast with me, Dico DeAndrew, on another episode. And guess what? This is episode number 10, and it's quite that we are moving so fast in which we are talking from our hearts because this is the Youth Pulse podcast. And for today's topic, we are going to be tackling the issue of how to become a youth advocate for change because like فعجات كتير أنا بدير غيره كشباب so أنا لازم نجيب شباب عشان بيجي كلمة في مواضيع زي so why not we introduce our guests for today as we are enjoying this one together. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever it is right now.
Good afternoon.
Kevitakom, how are you guys doing?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, they always say ladies first, but since there's two in one, I know you better be one. How are you? You can just introduce yourself and what do you do?
Yeah, I'm very good. My name is Robert Wani Theophilus. I'm a food security activist and I volunteer with the UN Association for South Sudan.
Okay.
And I as well also work in the State Ministry of Agriculture. Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm also running one of my projects that started this month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And you?
My name is Ashley Byong and I'm a student and photographer.
Oh, interesting. Which department?
Psychology.
This feature.
Interesting, right?
Uh-huh.
My name is Diko Janet Isaac. I am a student and I am a passionate youth advocate.
Okay.
Yes.
I think we're going to be starting with you since you mentioned about advocacy and since we
All
are
right.
handling the youth, how to become a youth advocate for change. Whenever that you just hear about a youth and advocates, what comes always into your mind?
I think defining a youth, I would say a youth is a young person. And for the context of South Sudan, we do not have a clear definition of who a youth is. So let me just go with a young person, or I can just use the UN reference that says a youth is a young person between the age of 14 to 24. And then when I look at an advocate is simply somebody that uses maybe their voice to advocate for a cause. I don't know why I love using the word advocate, but somebody that identifies a problem and then try to raise concerns about that particular problem.
Okay.
Yep.
And as for you, like, why do you think it's also very important for youth to be advocates of change in their society?
Well, I think youth are very able and I would say well versed with the problems we face and problems people have faced because we've seen people go through stuff. And also we're advocating for the people below us. So we're the most suitable people. We're in between. So yeah.
Okay. In our society, I find it a little bit hard because like there are many youth that we are looking at them that they are really changing our society. But what will you think some of the stories or the personal stories you can share with us in regard to youth advocacy?
Okay. To me, advocacy itself is one journey that I embraced with my whole person.
Okay.
Yeah, because like me, I studied from Uganda and I was majoring the field of agriculture. So we all understand the status quo of South Sudan when it comes to food security. Like we have an acute food, shortage. This is just caused by the conflicts from the past. So as young people, we've been subjected to live with the remedies of what happened in the past.
Yes.
So with the knowledge that I acquired, I developed this passion to advocate for food security. So basically in 2023, that's when I started my advocacy journey. That was through the African UN Youth Delegates Program. We happens to be the pioneers of that program. So when we were introduced into, the UN, the roles of the UN and our country as South Sudan, maybe its roles with the UN, So after like the NIA, we got, exposed to so many other, community challenges and how we can be able to contribute our ideas to provide solutions to that. So last year, and then like I challenged myself several times and seeing, okay, I've known the kind of person that I am.
Yes.
I know my strength and I know my weaknesses. So what is my take if I am to provide solutions, however little it is, maybe to the food security of South Sudan? So that's when now I came forth with an idea to come with a project that is called the Youths in Agriculture. Basically, it's like an initiative. So Youths in Agriculture initiative, it's one initiative that aims to boost the participation of young people in the agro-food system. Yeah, because we know very well in our South Sudan context, when young people hear agriculture, they'll be like,
Molodo.
yeah,
Exactly.
they don't know
That's what
that.
I think about.
Yeah, so they don't know that there are a lot of opportunities which are enshrined in agriculture. Because the fact is, if you cannot do farming in the garden, you can do marketing.
Sure.
So if you cannot do marketing, there are a lot of things concerning branding. If you're good in IT skills, so you can brand, some agro products. So if you cannot do branding, there are logistics comes in. You have to transport agro products to the market. So it gives a diverse, opportunities to young people. So through this project, I tried making some collaborations, and I attended some seminars. I attended some trainings just to boost my capacity. To make sure that my cause actually gets that attention that it deserves. So and then I now approached UNFAO, and I also introduced my cause to them. So and then they gave me now like an entry point. So if you really want to address this challenge, then you need to look at your entry point.
That will be from your own perspective in
Yeah.
terms of agriculture.
Yes.
But now for you, you're a photographer. Like, how do you use this to advocate for change in your society?
Well, first off, I would say getting involved in the community, yeah, and then taking pictures that tell a story. You don't just take random pictures, and also finding suitable captions, something that's enticing, that grabs attention and the right attention, and directing your caption to certain people. Yeah, know your crowd and know what you're trying to tell. So, yeah.
What will be that one picture you took and everybody was like, oof,
Wow.
this is wow.
Well, a bunch actually.
Okay.
But then lately I had been focusing on sports pictures. So it just like there's this picture I took of a girl playing, and
The one in your DP?
yeah. Well, that's not the specific one I took that people talked about. But then there was this one, and they're like, oh, there are actually girls playing now. So that's advocating for parents to let girls play basketball now. It's all not only for the guys. And slowly that will, because my foundation, I play at the LOL thing. So
So you ask actually a basketball.
I am
You
surprising.
have to add this on your intro. Can't give any.
I
Oh my
should
god, this
have.
is interesting.
Yeah. So we do not only focus on playing basketball. So we learn skills. There's been mental health. We had leadership skills and stuff. So the children, even girls, get to learn more of this, not only basketball. And yeah, it's very helpful. So
Okay. That's yours. What about you, madam?
Quite a long story. I think my sister is going to troll me for this. But then there's this story my mom told me that when I was young, because I have an elder sister.
Yeah.
So, kids, you go and play around. And then for me, I'm this person that I used to just play alone. I don't like associating with other kids. I would just play around the veranda with
Mufteri
my
taban.
tools. Yes, mufteri. So my sister would go and play, and then she gets beaten by other kids, and then she comes home crying. So I think my advocacy started there, because instead of leaving it to my mom, I would be the one to go and take over. Sometimes I end up beating those kids. Yeah, so I think my sister, she can forgive me if she comes across this. But then with advocacy, I think honestly speaking, it's always the passion. What is it that you want to see? What is it that you want to change? And with me, I am very passionate about the young people, especially the girls, because most times our stories are so sad and our experiences are very different. I've been in classes where sometimes I'm with my classmates, and then the next class, they're not with me anymore. Why? Because maybe they're forced for marriage, maybe they've been forced for something that they do not want, something that is out of their will. And it's since then that I said, okay, how about I use my voice to amplify for these young girls that, they can actually be better, because most times we are told we should be in the kitchen. Most times we are told you should be a wife. Gira better fi bet, gi prepare tashanda bukunchu no maral quiz. So and then that's when I picked it up, and then like my colleagues put it, you get a lot of knowledge, you get a lot of opportunities, you get a lot of exposure, and in the process you become who you are today. Thank you.
Those are some of the challenges that you mentioned, but what might be you be adding on the challenges that might be at least like Mabukutu Zol advocate for changing the society as a youth?
Okay. So as young people, I know there are a lot of us out there who are really so passionate, and they are planning. Maybe some of them have not yet made that bold step to advocacy, and others have begun that.
Yes.
But and then if you're now into the advocacy journey, challenges are part of it always. But and then what you have to do when you're facing these challenges is that you have to gain support.
Yes.
That is one aspect that you really have to take serious. You need to gain support from maybe even your family members, your good friends, maybe work colleagues. If you have an idea that you feel will help out someone in some condition, so you talk to people so they can also guide you and give you ideas, because the whole advocacy journey, it needs that kind of support for you to gain comfort. And then secondly, you should also look at, that you're not alone on this journey of advocacy. The challenges that you're facing right now, so many young people have actually faced them across the world. But and then you have to do research. You might come across someone who had started the same initiative like you, but he has failed. But at the end of it all, he has devised some ways of getting, some solutions to that. So you can also learn from, how they came up, to mitigate such challenges. And then thirdly, I could look at you shouldn't consider yourself as the overall implementer of everything.
Yes.
For you to be a successful advocate, you need a team. So however much you're the driver of the advocacy itself, but you need a team, because you're not a superhuman. So sometimes you have the idea, but then you needed someone who can also do paperwork, someone who is good at the public speaking, to pitch about your idea and all that. And then basically those are the things that I feel maybe for anyone who is facing such challenges. And then you have to take these 3 steps to
Okay. When it comes to our world, of course, we are the Gen Zs, and everybody is on social media. But what do you think is the role of social media in creating that very assistant to the role of youth advocacy in our society and into the youth especially?
I think before we go to that, I just wanted to add on some of the challenges that maybe advocates can be going through, or those ones that maybe are trying to be advocates. I think one challenge is most times we don't know where to start from. I think he tried emphasizing it, but I just want to emphasize it that maybe somebody outside there is aspiring to become an advocate. So most times you do not know where to start, because today you're seeing this person is doing great, somebody is already an advocate, well known, and then you don't know where to start from. But then it just starts with the passion. What is it that you want to change? What is the cause? What is it that you want to see change differently, that when you put your voice there, you can be able to impact. And then maybe another thing is sometimes the lack of support, financially, knowledge-wise, all these aspects. With advocates is not like a job that you're being paid at the end of the month, honestly. So in case you're thinking of advocacy as maybe an opportunity to get money, I just say
but I
drop
think
it.
We can pin it to
We can put it as an
social
opportunity
media,
at some
actually.
point. At some point it becomes an opportunity, but don't put it in, because what is it that you want to impact at the end of the day? It's your impact that should matter, not what you get in reverse, because you want to see a better world. You want to see a world where there's no food insecurity. You want to see a world where girls' voices are being heard. You want to see a world where girls are given the opportunity to play basketball, the same way as Ashley put it. So it's just about the sacrifice, that one step that you take to become an advocate. Thank you. Back to you.
So, how social media is?
How can we use technology and social media to play a role in youth advocacy in today's world?
So, something that's very important in advocacy is raising awareness, and also removing the stigma that's been put. Like, some people believe young people do not have a voice, or their voices are not valid. It's always the big people that have to speak. So through social media, because we the youth are like running it literally,
Yeah.
So it's like our space, our safe space. So that we can remove the stigma that older people have to speak. So now we are our own voices, we are listening to ourselves. And some youth will be able to reach the older people that some other youth can't reach. So advocacy doesn't only mean it's one step. So it can reach this person takes it to this. It's a process. So we can use social media to raise awareness, remove the stigma, to inform people on some topics, and also to identify, to highlight some problems that some people are not seeing. So maybe if I live in a rural area, it's easier for me to identify the problems there. For him who's in an urban area, or he'll be like, oh, this is what they're going through, this is her point of view.
Yeah.
So we get to show people different perspectives through social media. And we get to communicate with other people, because sometimes when you're advocating, you need to get the whole package. You don't just give bits. So you collaborate with other youth around and come up with one big thing, and when you're presenting it, it's whole, it's not lacking.
Yeah.
You want to add something?
Yeah. Basically, when it comes to social media, I think looking at our generation right now, like the world is experiencing actually the largest population of young people that it has ever experienced. So we use social media on daily, our daily lives.
Actually, statistics say that we are the first country in whole Africa overusing Facebook. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
So active.
So and then as an advocate, I think as much as you have the opportunity to use social media, to reach out to people, but you should also be cautious about it, because one thing on your advocacy journey, you have to base your stuff on facts.
Yes.
You need to do a thorough research of what you're posting out to people right there. So sometimes, like, if you don't do the research, you will end up, posting some raw, something that can even cause, commotion on media. And as a disciplined advocate, maybe if you have done your research and you post something out there, of course, not everyone is going to like what you put out there. But then for that situation, you don't have to, like, get into arguments with the people that maybe comments on your media posts and all that. But you have to take every challenge like an opportunity to improve yourself. So you always have to gather information from different perspectives, so that when you now post it out there, you're representing, views of diverse people. Yeah, so that's maybe what I could add on to social media.
Okay.
Yeah.
Getting back to you, Diko, there's this thing about us youth, or Junubin. He's an agriculturalist and she's a basketballer, photographer, you're an advocate for youth. They'll be looking at you like, like they will not listen to you. They say like, why should I bother? She's just trying to be whoever she's not trying to be. So I don't know, like, what will be your comment on this?
I think that's quite a challenge that sometimes we as advocates, we face in different fields that we find ourselves into. But most times you just need to be persistent, and then you should always stick to your goal. Because people undermining you is not your problem, that's their problem. Because what you know is you're putting a lot of efforts, you're trying to do something. But then as advocates, we really need to work together, because the world has a lot of problems awaiting us. So if we start maybe not working together or undermining the other, trust me, there will be a moment that you need the other person's support at some point. Because, for example, maybe I am advocating for the rights of maybe women and girls, and then I have a story that I want to publish, and I am not good at writing, or I'm not good at photography. So what happens is next time I need to work with or collaborate with who? Ashley, because she does that best. So that tells us that as advocates or activists or whatever we call ourselves, it's always important for us to work together, because it's the component of working together that brings us together. But most times when we're scattered, we tend not to achieve anything, because if I share my information or whatever thing that I have, nobody's going to like it. Nobody's going to share or reach a wider range. That means we're not doing anything. So as youth advocates, I would always advise us to work together. It doesn't matter the advocacy that he or she is doing. But then I will also emphasize you should stick to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, as an advocate, if you identify that, this is what I want to advocate for, this is where I see I need to put a lot of energy or I need to voice myself, you should be consistent on what you're doing. You should be persistent, keep doing it. Because today you're doing this, tomorrow you're running there, the next tomorrow. Sometimes people will be wondering, what are you doing? You get. So it's always good for us to work together, but then we should stick to our lanes.
Yeah.
Stick to our lanes. Thank you.
When it comes to you, Ashley, like, of course, I bet you have faced a lot of challenges that you also got yourself into. But how can you tell that very young advocate to ensure their voices are heard in crowded and competitive advocacy space? Because, like, for you, it's just too much in your plate. So, like, what advice will you give them?
Okay, first and foremost, I would remind them that they do not owe the public anything. So most people in this country are entitled.
Yes.
They feel like, I deserve to get this from these people. They have to give me money. They have to give me resources. They don't have to. If they want to, they will. So I'll ask them to be polite and speak up, be confident, and also stand out. Most people want to do what, like, let's say Diko's more experienced than I am in advocacy. Yeah? So imagine I just start, like, maybe she has a page for advocacy only.
Yeah.
So I watch all her videos. I use the same word she's using, every tactic.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked for her. It may not work for me.
Yeah.
So I'll ask them to be original and also try to, search up information like he said.
Yeah.
You have to know everything. You have to master your craft before you go out there. You have to be fully ready because it's tough. Some people already went through all these people. Some people do it for their own benefit.
Yeah.
So you have to really know why you're doing it. And you need passion, like Diko mentioned.
Yeah.
So I would tell them to do it wholeheartedly because it's tough out there. And just be confident.
Okay.
Yeah.
And lastly, what future will you love to see, or the changes do you hope to see as a result of youth advocacy effect?
Well, I would love to see more people stand up, have higher self-esteem, because I am heavy on mental health. That's why I'm doing psychology.
Okay.
Yeah.
So some people think if they speak up, they'll get judged. Yeah, you'll get judged, but what changes if they judge you or not? You remain the same. So I just hope more people have higher self-esteem and are able to fight and know their rights fully. Because some people are really manipulating people.
Yeah.
They are exfoliating kids. And like sometimes I'll talk about the people that ask you to intern for them. I don't know if it relates,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it's just an analogy, yeah? So they ask you to intern for them and they just sit back and relax.
All the work is on you.
It's crazy. That's too much.
Yeah.
So the same thing with advocacy. You should know what you should do and what you should not do.
Yeah.
Because you'll end up doing more than you should and you'll hate what you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah. So
So know what you want and what other change. Literacy, I just hope more people learn how to read and write. Because that's the main reason people don't know their rights, because they cannot read and write.
yeah.
So that's another change I'd love to see.
Okay.
Me, actually, I'm this one person who I think if all the conditions necessary are, favoring everyone, I think South Sudan has a bright future. And on my own, movement, I still have hope that I'll achieve what I'm doing. Yeah, so to people out there, I think what I could say in regards to the future of advocacy is that we have a lot of challenges. The world itself is facing so many challenges that we even don't know how they began. But, for us to pave the way for the next generation, it's now like our responsibility as the young people, to open the path for them. So it's really going to be challenging. Advocacy is a very challenging journey. But then you really have to just attach yourself to the person. You have to attach yourself to the person, and then continue doing what you can do best. Yeah. sometimes you get judged and you even get disappointed. You feel like, leaving everything in the middle. But it's at that specific moment that you have to just believe in your instincts, keep pushing on until you find a positive result. Yeah.
All right. I think I'm getting emotional and I don't know why. So this is what I'll say. Just imagine a world where every girl has an opportunity to go to school, to be who they want to be. Imagine a world that I am not here because I'm able to walk or because I'm able to hear or because I'm able to see. But then most times we are marginalized, we are left out because of most of these incapabilities. Imagine a world where every boy has access to the same opportunities given to girls, because these days we hear cases where girls have more opportunities than boys. And we also have cases where most girls are forced for early marriages. And I'm just imagining a world where everybody has a better future, has a bright future for themselves. Because we as advocates, we as young people, we should remember that we are the 72% of this country. And that means the change we want begins with us. We should stop undermining people. We should keep working. We should keep advocating. Don't put your voice just because somebody somewhere told you, no, you don't deserve. Most times people tell me, you know what, Diko? You sound like a child. Diko, this and that and that. And then I don't look at this like an obstacle to me. But then somebody somewhere, she talked about self-esteem. Somebody's shying down just because of what they've been told. So imagine a world where everybody is allowed to be themselves. So this is the world that I imagine, not just for myself, but for everybody. Thank you.
That's beautiful.
It's always beautiful whenever that we're having a topic on the Youth Pulse podcast. Time runs so fast, like literally so fast. But for today, it's been an interesting one. I bet you have enjoyed it as well. But when it comes to this very topic, how to become a youth advocate for change, we heard from an advocate of child, a girl child, I can just place it, and as well an advocate through of telling you a story through a picture. I don't know if I'm putting the English, if the English is Englishing very well, or the food security advocate, because it's really requires someone to be passionate, and as well consistency, and as well self-esteem, as Ashley mentioned. So from me to you, take action, speak up, and it's high time for you to stand on your rights and know your rights and share with your loved ones, because it's only us that is going to be changing the society, because we are the 72%, as Diko mentioned. My name is Diko DeAndrew. This had been the Youth Pulse podcast. A lovely
The
Youth Pulse podcast, speaking from our hearts.